I was on earlier, had some technical difficulties. It was just a stupid error on my part. I had the YouTube show on, and it was picking it up. But I'll just summarize what I brought up. It's still crazy. It's still nuts. The reason why this debate and everything's fucked up, and it's still fucked up, is because money is still in politics, and it's something I've been advocating against and trying to get people to get involved with that forever and ever and ever. End Citizens United Facebook group had a Zoom meeting that I infiltrated, in a sense, with my chatting. And I just kind of told them what's going on. You guys have a bunch of Democrats on there that aren't going to do shit, that haven't done shit. And I said, if you took money out of politics, 85, maybe 90% of Congress would be empty. Because the reason why they're there is for the fucking money. And everybody should know that. So what I'm saying is everybody. I'm talking about Convo Couch, Status Quo, Jamal, Zoom Politicon, which I know knows this, Kyle Kalinske, Humanistic Report, Jimmy Dore. Who am I leaving out? I know Richie from Boston does it, Spiro does a Corbett Report, Conscious Resistance, Free Thought Project, We Are Change, a bunch of others are just, they fucking know it. They should be plugging get money out of politics. The reason why shit is fucking stupid for the 99% is because money is in politics. Period. That should be the number one thing we should be fucking fighting for, especially Black Lives Matter. Especially. Anyway, I have the lovely and fantastic Stevie with Right in Economics on. Stevie, how you doing?
I survived the debate, so I've got that going for me.
It was pretty crazy. The debate itself, as I was watching it, it really appeared as though they were just, it's like they both support the same things. I mean, if you think there's a difference, then you're cuckoo. Then you're not getting it. You haven't seen their voting records. You haven't seen their actions. You haven't gone to Ballotpedia. You haven't gone to Ask Congress or websites where it shows what they've represented, what they've done, what they've said. Don't go to fucking Snoops. Don't go to Fact Check and all this other bullshit. That's bullshit. Why did that just stop? Oh, wow. Hold on. Hang on. Mike, why did that even just do that? That is so weird. Something just clicked. Let's see if I can fix this. Oh, there we go. All right. Whoa, that was weird. But anyway. So it was ridiculous. It was stupid. They're not going to do anything to help the 99%. Remember, when they say the American people, they're not talking about you or me. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not making over $400,000 a year, right? Some of you are. Kudos to you. Great. Good for you. Awesome. Great job. Golf clap. Outstanding. But about, 80 to 90% of the people in this wonderful country that is still here, that is still somewhat here, don't make anything close to that at all. So when they say the American people, they're not talking about you. So let's just make that clear, right? The American people, they don't want their taxes, tax expense. And no, because the tax code was everybody knows who and what it's written for. The corporate elite 1%ers, the CE1s. That's who it's written for. It's not written for you. Trump isn't the only person that has not paid tax that's making hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars or billions of dollars. He's not the only, the list is pretty damn long for a lot of those people that just know how to fucking take advantage of the tax code. An LLC, an S-Corp, corporation, nonprofits. I mean, the whole thing. You guys should everybody should just start a corporation. Fight them at their own battle. That's what I say. That's what I say. Just, use the systems that they're using and the processes to legally evade paying taxes. Start a corporation. It's not that hard. You can do it. Anyway, so it was just folk. What's your synopsis or what's your summary? What do you think about that whole entire menagerie of a fucking debate?
I mean, it's not a debate when they both agree on everything, right? I mean, they're finger pointing at each other for what? I mean, they agree on everything. They're both pro fracking, pro Wall Street, pro screwing over workers, and then Kamala Harris. The part that there's a few parts that really got me, and the one where Kamala Harris was up there acting so self-righteous about the people that can't afford their rent and they're going to be evicted. And the whole time she's giving this impassioned speech, she's doing this, she's talking to you. And first of all, nobody does this when they talk. This is not a thing. This is not a way that people point. I have never in my life, unless I'm talking about a politician, said anything by pointing. You know what? That's an excellent point. That doesn't happen. So she's doing her rehearsed political, hand signaling, her, researched and thoroughly, investigated ways of talking to people. And it's all performance. It's all performance. And she's, how dare you? How dare you? And then she's talking about how they were sitting on this information and people died because they were sitting on this information. And think of how many lives could have been saved between January and February or January and March, however long it was that she said. But the thing is that the Democrats had the same information. So what were they doing? They act like they're just sitting there and they can't help it, man. The Republicans just get to do whatever they want. Like they are not in office. Like they do not have power. It is absolutely absurd. It's all theater. This is wrestling. This is wrestling on a whole new level. We all know it's a fucking scam. We all know it's all fake. And yet we're supposed to sit there and pretend like it's real. We can't talk about how not real it is. All of it. I mean, you've got two goobers on stage debating like they have differences. Kamala Harris locked up poor parents. I mean, she's a joke. Pence is a joke. They're all jokes. They should be, but they're not. They're running the country. They're running the country.
To say that,
and the fear mongering when it comes to, they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade. You know what? They've already, overturned habeas corpus. They've already overturned freedom of speech. So you know what? Throw that on the pile of rights that they've already overturned. Wow. Yeah, they're going to overturn that one. I don't think that is one that they're actually going to do. It's one they like to threaten and scare us with, right? It's just a way of threatening women. That's all it is. Be scared, because if you don't vote for us, the other party is going to force you to have a kid. That's all it is. The only reason to watch any of these debates is if, you want to feel angry or if you want a good drinking game. That's it.
That's an excellent reason. I'm just checking right now to see who's on, if this thing is working properly. Right now to see who's on. But
No echo.
hang on. Did that just stop? Yeah, it should be good. All right. Okay, so speaker. Hold on. Why aren't I replace admin mute? This thing is so different now. Okay, back to the gallery. There we go. Zoom did some changes. I'm still trying to figure it out. Yeah, I was going through some of the stuff that I've been working on. Now, let me just make sure it looks like it's on. Okay. Yeah, I was going through my Facebook and my Twitter, and I wanted to. Where's that Citizens United post I had? God, I put a lot of shit up. But yeah, that's just probably too much stuff I'm putting up. There's a good cartoon right here, right? I love this cartoon. I'll show it to you real quick. And now it's not showing my. Wow. This thing, since I just got an update on it today. So what is very odd is it's not even showing it. What is happening? All right, maybe it'll come back. Well, I guess I can't show that. Yeah, it's just funny and ridiculous. But anyway, so just like us in my show tonight, things aren't working properly. So it is a finger pointing contest. They're blaming the left, they're blaming the right. It's just monotonous. It's exhausting. You've got to be done with it. Sadly, you want to go to a third party, and your biggest concern with the third party is when. It's a matter of when will that other party be compromised as well. The Tea Party came in. They were compromised by the Republican Party. They had some good stuff out there. They were very, not super libertarian, but they had certain rights they wanted, and I understood what they were asking for. That's fine. The Justice Democrats came in, and they were demanding this, that, and the other thing, and they got compromised. And now we have the Movement for the People's Party, which everybody's jumping aboard another party. It's about another party. Let's jump on that other party. You know, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I keep telling people left and right, there's 8 states right now that you can write in somebody. Just fucking write them in. And they'll be counted. Mickey Mouse, you write in that name, it won't happen. Michael Jordan, won't happen. Unless he's actually running. If they're actually running for president, then they'll accept it. So, there's ways of doing that there. Let me see, we got Kamala Harris fails to explain why she didn't prosecute Stephen Mnuchin's bank, LOL. Stephen Mnuchin will work for Kamala. Yeah, probably. Jordan Lott. Hey, Mana, my brother. You rock. We need to clean house this election. Vote anyone besides Dems and Replubs. Plain and simple. Yeah, just vote anybody else. That's a good point. Jordan's totally on target with that. Yeah, the People's Party should hire me. I like the People's Party. I'm just seeing some people in the People's Party already that are pretty well connected. I can't think of their names off the top of my head, but they're pretty tight with the Democratic Party. And God, it would just suck if you put all your energy and effort and resources and money, and then one day you find out the Movement for a People's Party starts to move neoliberalish. They start saying they're going to do this and that. And it's like the way Bernie used everybody in a sense to herd them towards Biden, the same way he did for Hillary in 2016. I mean, is this the same way the Justice Democrats, and the list goes on and on of how many nonprofits and foundations and movements out there have been compromised. They've been taken over, right? Because all it takes is one person or two or three people to say, okay, yeah, I'll let you in. Yeah, we just need you to bring your people to us. That's all. That's exactly what Bernie did. You cannot believe he's that stupid where he got tricked in the primaries, where he didn't prepare for any of this. That's nonsense. From 2016, he should have been way better prepared. Faiz Shakir, which is his campaign manager, used to fucking work for Nancy Pelosi, for fuck's sakes, right? Used to work for John Kerry, for fuck's sakes. And then afterwards, we find out they're a bunch of lobbyist whores. How did he not know this? Of course he knows this. Look, I think Bernie at one point, maybe 15, maybe 10 years ago, but I think at some point, I think in 2015 or 16, I think when he met with Barack or Hillary, they threatened him, or they gave him an ultimatum, or they did something to him, or told him something to say, look, motherfucker, you need to bring your people to us, because if you don't, this is what's going to happen. Blah, 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 extortion. Blah, 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 mafia tactics. Blah, 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 blah. The list goes on and on. I mean, what the hell was his name? Tim Canova. Tim Canova went through hell and high water in a fraudulent colluding scam with Debbie Wasserman Schultz in 2016. Just got hammered. And nobody said a fucking thing about that. But anyway, all right. I got somebody else that's here, by the way. I keep forgetting. All right, so I'm going to digress and let Stevie take. She had something that she wants to point out. So let me get out of here. Why does this keep doing this? All right, that looks better.
Well, I just wanted to add on to what you were saying about the parties, which is, I don't like the fact of, relying on parties just because, it takes away, it gives them more power. It takes away our power. The power should be with the people and how the people want their country ran. And instead, like we're watching with the Democrats and Republicans, as parties gain power, it's more about, what do they want to give us rather than them representing us. I mean, we've seen that with the Republican Party and the Democratic Party as far as how their values shift and who they represent and what they want. It's the same slimy group of people, but they'll jump from party to party, just like a parasite will jump from host to host in order to survive. So that's what these people do. That's what the people with power, the people with money, that's how they stay. They'll go dormant for a little while, but they'll resurface like always, and they'll give it a brand new name. They'll do it under a brand new party. But either way it goes, it's like we can't be trusted with that. We can't be trusted with making decisions about our own lives. It always comes down to what kind of scraps is somebody else going to be giving us, and that is a ridiculous way to run a country. Absolutely, especially when that country gets to dictate how other countries operate, gets to dictate who gets to be in charge of the other countries, gets to, run coups in other countries or wars, for profit. This is exactly, it's not just America that this affects. If that was the case, it would be tragic, but, at least it would be contained, but it's not. And when the American empire falls, these parasites will jump to another country. That's how it's always been. America is not the first empire, and it will not be the last unless we completely you know, as they're talking about quarantine and how to isolate this virus. Well, that's how we should be treating these rich, powerful fucks in charge. We should be quarantining them. They should be ostracized and cut off from the rest of society. They should not be allowed to contaminate the rest of the world with their failures and their psychopathy. I mean, you have Bill and Melinda Gates debating on whether or not a child's life should be saved. You have people just talking about openly bombing other countries for profit. The corruption is right there, open in our faces. We know this. We know all that. That's why half of America is already checked out. The problem that we're having now is apathy, and the fact that most people feel powerless to do anything to change this. They feel like their vote doesn't mean anything. They feel like protesting doesn't mean anything, and it's just like, how do you give those people hope when they've been sold false hope their entire lives from one party or another, from one group or another? How do we, motivate people to actually get out there and do the things that can actually do the change when, they've been all sold a, constant stream of lies since they were born. So that's what we're trying to do, actually come up with a tangible, plan that's going to work. And it's not like despite what our personal viewpoints are on, certain parties or whatever, it's about policies. It's about candidates. So, there's a lot of good people in Movement for a People's Party. There's a lot of good people in, certain parties, Green Party, other, places. Even the Democrats, really the only one that I still like is Paula Jean Swearengin, but she's in a very corrupt party. And everybody asks me, well, does Paula Jean have a chance to win? I don't know. Her biggest obstacle is the Democratic Party, the party that she labels herself as. Does she stand a chance when they screwed her over the last time? They wouldn't fund her. They wouldn't give her the time of day. Now she's running against a Republican, but she still, wants Medicare for all. She still wants to stop putting poison in our waters. So do the Democrats like her? No, because she is diametrically opposed to the Democratic Party. So are they going to help her win? Absolutely not. And people like her, that it shouldn't matter what party they're running under. It should not matter whatsoever. But that's not the way things are set up, and that's for a reason.
So I'm just trying to fiddle around to see why my page won't come up. Give me a second. I'm going to look into this. I know. I wanted to show some stuff that I had on Facebook. Give me a second. Gallery. Why is that happening? It was just working earlier. Oh, wait. No, that's not it. Okay. No, that's not it. Hold on. All right. Discard, cancel, discard. All right. Now I got us up twice. Holy bejesus, people. Yeah, that was working. It was working, man. So I don't know why it's not doing it now. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Angie says the sound is good.
And this, thank you, Angie. Yeah, so I don't understand why this is happening. Because now I can't show my... Oh, wait. I think I just know why. Oh, no. Okay. So, let me see. Looks like we're just going to have to talk. So here's some things that I wanted to go over real quick. Let me just get back on here. Take the view, speaker gallery. Here, unmute, add pin. No, that's not. Okay, you can now pin a spotlight multiple people. No. Okay. They just updated my OBS, so I didn't get a chance to look at it, and I apologize for that. So what she's talking about, we have a thing called non-partyvoters.org. You can write in people. That's the goal. I mean, just go to it, non-partyvoters.org. It'll give you some information on it. It's work in progress. It's a nonprofit, just filed, registered, just got my EIN. There's a lot of things I still need to set up before I start getting moving. But I want people to be able to just vote for whoever they want for their Senate, their representative, and for their POTUS, which in 8 states you can do that. So there's another topic that I wanted to talk about in regards to the debate, which I thought was very interesting. And it just seems so childish. There's just no other word to use but childish is in regards to the vaccine. So I am not an anti-vaxxer, but when you're making a vaccine in warp speed time, and this vaccine, we don't know the repercussions of it or what could happen with it. We do know that recently on Graham, on what's Graham's last name? Elwood. Graham Elwood. He just had Whitney Webb, and she was, to sum it up, saying that there are 2 idiots or crazy motherfuckers that are in charge of this, and that it's the information on it, how it was made, built. There's no papers, there's no information on it. It's like top secret. Nobody knows, you know, what's involved with it, what are its ingredients. There's just all kinds of information that are really scary about this vaccine, and I get it, because the fastest vaccine that was ever created took a little over 4 years, but this one, according to Trump, is less than a year, supposedly. We don't know if they've been working on it for a long time, and they have this pre-planned, like I believe, and it is a plandemic or a scamdemic, or if it's just been, an 8-month project. But according to Trump, it's ready to go. So Kamala Harris says, I will not take the vaccine if Trump okays it. So if the vaccine, they're getting the same vaccine from the same Bill Gates companies, Moderna, something else, Verticatos or whatever, and some other companies that are putting this crap together. And Kamala Harris says, well, it needs the trials, it needs to be tested. I agree, all this other important things that need to happen, whether they want it to come out in a year or 2 years or whatever the case may be, it's still very dangerous, in my opinion and from my perspective, and me doing some research and my due diligence and chickity checking myself before I wreck myself and checking all the information. And she's saying she won't take it if Trump issues it. Now, keep in mind, it's coming from the same companies that Biden would be releasing it. But because Trump is going to issue it or force it upon us or put it out there for people to have and use, right? Nobody's going to take it, or she won't take it. Because Trump's going to give it the okay, I'm not taking it, she says. But if Joe does it from the same companies, she'll take it. Which I don't believe.
Or I just wanted to point out real fast. Now she said, yeah, she said that she wouldn't take it if Trump told her to take it, but she would take it if Dr. Fauci told her to take it, who is a proven liar, who went out there and told people that masks don't work, which if masks didn't work, Nobody in the operating room would ever wear a mask, right? You'd just be doing open heart surgery, just breathing into somebody's open heart. Masks do work, okay? And he went out there and told people masks don't work. And then he said, well, I just said that because we didn't have enough masks to go around. He's a licensed doctor. He should be in jail or have any kind of licensing revoked from him for lying to patients. He is lying to America. The entirety of America is his patient right now. And he lied to every single one of us because there wasn't enough masks. They don't get to do that. They are held to a certain standard. Doctors are held to a very high standard, and he lied to everybody about it. Lied to them. And this is the same liar that Kamala Harris said that she'll believe. Not that it matters, because the thing is that they, correct me if I'm wrong, please, James, they have not even isolated the coronavirus itself. No. They have not, the tests that go to test for the coronavirus don't specifically test for the coronavirus. They test for certain markers, but it's not a COVID-19 test. So, and this is the same virus that they're going to release a rushed through vaccine on. Absolutely not. I'm vaccinated with certain things. My kids are vaccinated for things, but this is a rush job, absolute rush job. And no, we shouldn't just take a vaccine because a certain political person told us to, which that's all he is now. He's no longer a doctor. He has nothing to do with healthcare when he lies about healthcare. It's not about that. We should take a vaccine because we've looked into it. It's been tested. It's gone through all the trials. It'll help us, all these things. But they are not doing any of that. They're rushing through every single step of this. They're making all these big promises. And I don't want it. I don't want it if that's what they're doing. Over half of America does not want this vaccine because they're not, over half of America doesn't want this vaccine. Over half of America has checked out of the voting process. Why? Because they know it's all a scam. They know it's all a scam. So anyway, I'll let you get back to what you were saying, but I just wanted to point out that Kamala Harris is absolutely full of shit when she's talking about this. Oh, she'll believe a liar, but she won't believe the other liar. How does that make any sense at all? So what is it with Dr. Fauci and the Democrats? Why I don't get this because I don't watch, mainstream news. Sometimes if I really want to torture myself or just keep up with like the propaganda tactics that they're using, I'll watch it. But I don't understand their fascination and their love for Dr. Fauci. Why they think that he's actually trying to help people is beyond me when he just blatantly lies. Let's see what chat says. The man that created the test they are using said it was never meant to test the virus. Exactly, Angie. That's exactly what James was telling me. Wait, where'd my camera go? All right, there it goes. He's like really deep into this. He spends a lot of time researching this stuff and verifying, and it's exactly what you're saying. By the way, this man died just before the scandal. Yes, isn't that weird? And I know Zoo on Politicon has covered this, but certain virologists in the CDC just have really bad luck with like suicide and drownings too.
Especially during this time.
Yeah, especially whenever there's a supposed pandemic, it's just bad for their health. They just end up like killing themselves and stuff. It's super weird. So just none of this stuff makes any sense, and we're supposed to trust. It's just it bothers me so much because I worked in the hospital. I worked in the ICU. I saw so many nurses and doctors in there with integrity. They did everything they could. And for very little pay, work their asses off to make sure to save people's lives. And then you've got these people up at the top that, like Dr. Fauci and people that no longer really practice medicine. They've gone on to the bureaucracy part of medicine that are making decisions about people's health when they're paid to do the exact opposite. The doctors that are in the hospitals, I just want to stress that they will do everything to save your life. They don't care about making insurance an extra dollar. They're actually, because they have malpractice, right? If they screw up, if they do wrong by the patient, they get sued. They will lose their license. But these people at the top like to, in the bureaucratic part of it, like to fudge the numbers or just say, well, we've got an opening, maybe, if you want to, become the lead, or if you want to go up in the chain of command, then, you have to have certain numbers. But the regular people that work in the hospital, the regular doctors and nurses that are out there, they're just trying to take care of their patients. And it's these people that are running things and getting paid to sacrifice healthcare. Those are the ones that are out there telling us that everything's okay. We just need to take the vaccine and to trust them. I absolutely do not.
Let me go.
Thank you for doing that, because while you were saying some very important and pertinent things, there I am trying to fix this thing, and I finally fixed it. So, all right, so here we go. If, oh, there she is, Miss America. You know what? You look like you're 14 there. I swear to God.
I didn't look 14 when I was 14.
Oh my God. That is just not cool, man. Not cool. Okay, so let me go back to the gallery. See my ugly face. All right, so I was able to get it back up. No pun intended. Let me see here. And get to the proper page. So let me just say this. The PCR, the RT-PCR tests were not created to test for an isolated virus. I think it even says on the boxes, or some that first came out, was do not test for a virus or something like that. It was instead made to see if a heightened level of DNA, chromosome 8, from what I've researched, which is already in your body. If you have either like a parasite, bacteria, or a flu, this particular DNA, chromosome 8, heightens. And what happens is you get swabbed, and let's just say you have, it's like your body's been infiltrated with something that it's not, that it's defending itself. So this chromosome 8 comes out, and that's what it tests for. That's what it tests for. So the PCR test doesn't actually go see and check and look for an actual specific virus. That's not what it was created for, right? If you look, let me go here, and I'll go to this page, and then I'll show you. There it is right there. Okay. I'm going to bring this up real fast, and I don't want to bore you guys too much, but then let me go ahead and make this smaller and get this out of the way. All right, and move this over here like that. And I'll kind of go, and I'll scroll through this, and I'll show you exactly how this works. What is the PCR polymerase chain reaction test for? Oh, what it is? Okay, PCR is a technique used in the lab to make millions of copies. His name was Kary Mullis, by the way, the guy who invented the PCR test. He was an addict to LSD. He was a womanizer. He was kind of kooky, but he hated Fauci with a passion. He actually has a few quotes that Fauci's a criminal and a piece of shit, which I think I'm starting to understand why. But it says PCR is a technique used in a lab to make millions of copies of a particular section of DNA. It was first developed in the 1980s. Okay, the polymerase chain reaction test originally developed 1983 by American biochemist Kary Mullis. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1993 for his pioneering work. The PCR test is used in molecular biology to make many copies to amplify small sections of DNA or gene, in a sense. Using PCR, it possibly generate thousands of millions of copies of particular sections of a DNA from a very small amount of DNA. PCR are commonly tools used for medical and biological research labs. It's used in early stages of processing DNA for sequencing, for detecting the presence or absence of a gene to helpfully identify pathogens, okay? During infections and when generating forensic DNA profiles from tiny samples of DNA. Now, how it works, I'm not going to go into really all that, but the important part that I wanted to show you, templates, copy permitted, is down here, and get to the nuts and bolts of it, and hopefully I can find it. There's some good information. I'll leave this link in the notes. So it clearly says, is this the right one? Damn it. Oh, crap. That it tests for parasites. It like I said, the height of parasites, and oh god, maybe this isn't the right one, but the double standard DNA is heated into. That's not it. I probably should have had this up right where I needed it. I'm going to leave this in the notes. More information is on it. I probably just passed it. Let me just go to. I've got a whole segment on this. It said it's not reliable as well. It's not accurate. Okay. No, it said that there's been a lot of problems with it. If you go to this, I'll post this as well. You know, this comes from reputable sources that do the testing on all this. There's so much more to this that I can tell you about. But basically, it goes like this, and it's not accurate. It's not testing for the right thing. It's not an isolated virus. There is a virus. The inventor, Kary Mullis, swab test it's now the gold standard, right, for everybody that's using this. You know, here's a couple of important quotes that Kary Mullis says. The polymerase chain reaction was a chemical procedure, Mullins later wrote, that would make the structures of the molecules of a genes as easy to see as billboards in the desert and as easy to manipulate as Tinkertoys, which means you can manipulate them at the same time. You could actually use this to manipulate these genes in a sense, which is not good. His other quote, and this is regarding Fauci, what ABC needs, and this was back in, oh God, I think this was back in the 90s. What ABC needs to do, says Mullins, is to talk to the chairman of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, or NIAID, Dr. Anthony Fauci, our Brad Pitt of fucking of pathology or virology, Dr. Anthony Fauci, or Dr. Fauci, and Robert Gallo, one of the discoverers of HIV, and show that they're assholes, which he could do in 10 minutes. He's clear, and what's interesting is this guy died. Oddly, Kary Mullis died just before the outbreak due to pneumonia on August 7th of 2020. Okay, so I'm sorry I didn't bring that up exactly where I wanted to. It's in there somewhere, and I still need to fix this. But what I'm really getting to, and I'll keep it simple. I'll keep it simple. But what I'm really getting to is there's a lot of information that's going out about this thing that you're getting from via the HWO, you're getting from the CDC, you're getting from the FDA, you're getting from all these big pharma infiltrated supposed institutions and public departments that no longer care about you. They no longer care about you, right? They just fucking do not. And one of the good points I wanted to really try to kind of hit home with you in regards to the process of how these people fucking make their money, right? It's really simple. Is you have, for example, you'll have a senator, a representative at the federal level, and they leave and they'll either be too old to work and they retire and they're just done. They've been there for fucking ever and they're just crickety, they're just done. Or they'll leave early or they'll get fired or they'll just get voted out. But what's the first thing that they do? They become lobbyists, right? They become lobbyists for even those companies that they used to fight against and never get money from. They go and work for them. Who's the guy that screamed back in 2014 or something like that? He said he just screamed at the top of his lungs he was running for president or something. I'm trying to remember his name. Somebody will probably bring it up. But he became a lobbyist for companies that he used to say he fought against. So what happens to these people that work for these large pharmaceutical companies, these tech companies for pharmaceutical, right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they have now become leaders or are supposed public servants in institutions like the World Health Organization, the Center for Disease Control, the FDA, and other departments out there that have been infiltrated by these fucking people that used to be CEOs of banks and chemical companies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, now run fucking everything. It's been compromised. It's all been fucking compromised. Now, the thing that most people can't fathom is that they would do something against you. That they would actually do something to harm you. Well, if you go to the hospital, okay, this is harming somebody in my opinion. If you go to the hospital, right, and you need Tylenol, or you need Bear aspirin, or you need ibuprofen, Advil, and they give it to you, it's $40 to $50 a pill. When you could get that same pill for like 8 to 10 cents, or probably less, over the counter. Right? That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Your medical bill in a hospital could never be less than $30,000. I'm telling you right now, once you go on a gurney, whether you broke your fingernail, it's gonna be $30,000 fucking dollars. Because I'm trying to look for the article that I sent. Do you have that one I sent you? Oh, it was about the GPOs and the GMOs.
Yeah, do you want me to resend it to you?
You know what? I think I have it. Let me just look. All these fucking new media outlets. That's not it. I know I have it somewhere. Oh, I got it. The healthcare criminals. Here it is. All right. So the healthcare criminals are called the Group Purchasing Organization. And the person that brought this to my attention, I've kind of known about this in the past, and I knew there were middlemen and middlemen when it comes to health insurance, but we've got Group Purchasing Organizations. This is an entity that helps healthcare providers such as hospitals, nursing homes, and home health agencies realize savings and efficiencies by aggregating purchasing volume and using the leverage to negotiate discounts with manufacturers, distributors, and other vendors, which is a total lie. That's not the way it works. That is not the way it works. That's on Google. Type in Group Purchasing Organization, right? The GPOs. Those are the fuckers that raise the prices. Those are the motherfuckers that make sure that pill that you're taking, instead of it being 20 cents, it's $20, it's $200. The pharmacy benefit managers are the same thing, right? These guys, the PBMs, Again, Dr. Shiva, who's running for the Senate. I don't know who he's running against. I should look into that. He's and it's in my Facebook. The BPM is a company that administers and handles the drug benefit program for your employer health plan. BPMs process and pay prescription drug claims and are responsible for creating and updating your health plans, drug formularies, etc. But they're basically this. They all kind of work hand in hand, and they're screwing all of you. The other part of it is the major insurance companies that are also the middlemen as well. And then the hospitals get involved and they rack it up even more. The hospitals love the fact that they can get ginormous amounts of money for you being a COVID patient. If they can put you back in, if they know you've got COVID and you've got some problems, they're going to put you in because some of those states will pay big money for it. And I actually have, let me just show this to you real fast. I think this is very important information. COVID Stone. All right. You hate the downtime. She hates the downtime. I hate the downtime too, but I got to show you this. PCR test. No, this is. All right, here we go. PCR, this like virus. Here it is. There it is. Oh. All right, so if you go to the Becker's report, right, and I'll show it to you real quick, right? This is going to kind of blow your mind. I've showed this before, but I'll show it to you again because I think it's important that you see this. Now, if you kind of look at the way this works, I'll just put it up here so I can read it better for you. Hang on. All right, state-by-state breakdown of federal aid per COVID-19 case. This was back in April 14th of 2020, and it's still happening from what I know. So there's $30 billion emergency fund designated for hospitals. That's gone up a few times. It's actually a little bit more. So this is what happens. Now check this out. This bottom paragraph is important for you to look at. Below is a breakdown of how much funding per COVID-19 case each state will receive from the first $30 billion aid Kaiser Health News used as state breakdown provided to House Ways and Means Committee by the Health and Human Services, along with the COVID-19 cases tabulated. This is per case, along with COVID-19 case tabulated. Said the dole funding revenue support hospitals. The next grants will focus on providing particular operational area. So if you look down here, per COVID, right there, per COVID case in each state. Okay? Now watch this number. If you're admitted and you're going in, you can get this money in your hospital. $158,000. This is per case, right here. Right here, per case. $158,000 for Alabama, $306 for Alaska. Keep going down. And where I live, they have the record, which is $471,000 per case.
Now, I have a quick question about that. Who gets that money?
The hospital.
Do the doctors? No, the hospital doesn't get that money.
Who gets it?
The doctors and the nurses
Oh,
don't
it
get
goes
that
to the
money.
state. It goes to the governor. It goes to, who does it go to?
I would say probably the board of directors at the hospital. It doesn't go to the doctors. Actually, the doctors and the nurses right now are getting their hours cut. They're getting their benefits cut. They don't get bonus critical time overpay. They're not getting their 401k match for whatever they put into it. It used to be that the hospitals would match that. They no longer do that. So while they're cutting money from the people going in there and actually saving the people's lives that are ill, they're getting money on top of that, and it's not going to them. They're getting money taken from them while they're getting richer and richer and richer. I mean, it's the same thing that we're seeing in Congress, and it's happening in the hospitals now, and that is very, very dangerous.
Per case.
And
Oh my
just
God.
to clarify, on our local hospital here, Charleston Area Medical Center, CAMC, guess who sits on the board of directors? Shelley Moore Capito's husband. He is one of the people that decided that during a pandemic that they would cut the heroes' pay. They have signs up everywhere saying heroes work here, and yet they took things away from them during that time. So that's what they think about heroes. Oh, and also they'll let their heroes get sick with COVID-19, end up in the hospital and say, well, good luck with that. Hope your house doesn't get repossessed. Same company. Why Paula Jean Swearingen isn't calling that out, I have no idea.
That is a total and absolute travesty. I mean, that should not happen. That should not happen. That should not happen. I mean, somebody's so if you can log that amount, right? I'm going to show it right there, West Virginia. If you have a patient that tests positive per whatever they're fucking testing for, and you find out, right, that and you're a legislator and you're going, oh my God, we got a real case, somebody's got it, bring them in, because that's going to get our state $471,000. That one fucking person. Now the reason why that is because in California, right? In California, if you can see, and I'll scroll down to show you, there's no way they're going to do that. Which gets you to thinking. So California patient, right, gets $145,000, but they also have 39 million people there.
So are the lives of Californians worth less?
Connecticut is for sure, because Connecticut only gets 38,000.
Ooh. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, how does that work out? Because the cost should still be the same, right? Depending on what state you're in, it should not matter.
Yeah.
The cost of a life should not matter. I mean, it's crazy that in certain states that a life is worth more than in another state. They're just saying that point blank with their numbers. Are they not?
That just doesn't make any fucking sense at all. That just makes no sense at all.
I mean, all it comes down to, it seems like, is the bottom line, which is we've got this much money that we can pay, and we know that the percentages in each state are going to be the same, so we're going to make sure that it balances out. So since there's less people in West Virginia, they could pay more, but in California, since more people are going to get sick, they're going to pay less. That doesn't make sense, because the hospital bill still comes due no matter what.
And I don't think it has anything to do with the health care that the state already has. Because from what I can see, West Virginia doesn't really have bad coverage for people that qualify. Right? They don't. So this is all very alarming. This whole thing just seems to be a scam. If you've watched and paid attention to one state that has been fucking over their citizens and raking them over the coals, it's Hawaii. Hawaii has been, it's the strictest state of all the states. They have an idiot there named David Ig, and the mayor of Honolulu, or something, Caldwell, And a guy did a bunch of YouTubes. It's called Hawaii Lies. Look it up on YouTube. That these guys are doing, they're trying to get people to test, to do, they call it surge testing. So they're getting them to test more so they can hit a number to get the funding they need so they can get the money they need to go in their pockets. It's a fucking total scam. It is an amazing total scam. It just makes no sense. It's just getting worse and worse and worse as this kind of keeps going on. I get a lot of people that tell me, these conspiracy theories. So I have to say this, and this is important because James Cobert, or the Cobert Report, pointed this out. This is a great piece if you go to his work. He's on YouTube. The reason why the word conspiracy is out there, right? The reason why that word's there is because they're there, right? It's almost like saying, well, why is infinity real? Well, it's there. Right? So if infinity is a word that exists, meaning something goes on and on and on, why can't there be conspiracies? Conspiracies are just that word that says, I need to make a determination to prove with my theory that conspiracy is an actual action. It's a determination. It's a process of determining if that conspiracy is an actual event, an actual occurrence. Is it really happening? And a lot of people love to say, oh, you're a conspiracy. Yeah, thank you. Because I question authority. Because I question the experts. Because I question the sources. Not the sources paid by the source. Not the employee of the source. I'm questioning the source. I'm getting information directly from people that are actually the horse's mouth itself. And I'm bringing that information to you. And if you don't want to look it up, I lay it on the table. Here's my cards. Here's all my cards. Look them, check. Is that an ace? Yes, that's an ace. Yes, that's an ace. Yeah, and that's an ace too, by the way. There it is. With a king high. Right? King of spades high. Probably the highest four of a kind you can have. Or you can have a spades royal flush. Here's my royal flush. It beats your cards. My information beats your information. So what's happening right now is if you don't have the time to dig a little deeper, to research a little bit more, and find out what's really going on, and don't just, if some guy comes up and says a couple of weird things and doesn't make any sense, but for some reason you're like, you know what, that could be possible. That could be possible. Take a look at that information. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're critical thinkers, and I'm probably not one of them. Critical thinkers will don't play around on the surface. They don't play around on the surface. They'll go a little deeper. They'll go, down a few fathoms, right? Some of us will even go, like myself, get down to the Marianas freaking Trench. And we'll find out exactly what's fucking going on down there. And I'll bring it up and show you. Hey, by the way, there's this glowing fish that looks like a human being. Whatever. And I'm going to show it to you. And I'm going to lay it all out and show you that this is what's happening. But in regards to this vaccine, it's just not good. I mean, you've got to watch this last segment. And then I'm going to probably get going here pretty soon because it's getting kind of late. But I'm going to show you, it was just on Graham Elwood, is that the political vigilante? Is that, yeah, right?
Yeah, and I would just say, just be open to information. I mean, like, just to say that is what science and learning is all about. I mean, we're always constantly learning. Everything that we thought was true before, if we weren't open to new information, we would still think that, that the sun and the stars rotate around the earth. I mean, we would still think that, women couldn't, run because they would, blow up their ovaries. I mean, like, that these are insane things that we used to think, but then we found out new information, and then, we learned from it, moved on, but we're not doing that anymore. It's just nobody's listening anymore. It's just, I'm right, you're wrong, and there's no in between. You see this with Republicans, you see it with Democrats, you see it with pretty much, I mean, just any faction of people. It's just like we've all made up our minds, and we're not used to adapting to new information, which, we have to. We absolutely have to. I mean, that's how I usually present my shows, which is like, okay, well, here are the facts that I've found. And I never say it like definitively. I just say, like, look, here's what I've learned. This is what I think based on what I've learned. And I always leave it open for, if somebody else has new information or additional information, please send it to me, because I'm always, open to that kind of thing, because I want to know what's really going on. I don't want to just sit there and just say, well, I got it all figured out, and then put down the rest of my life because, I'm not open to learning the truth. I mean, it's crazy that we do this. So anyway, back to what you're.
Yeah, so I'm just showing now the interview. I'm telling you guys, you've got to look up this girl. She's just probably one of the most heroic, valiant, hardworking journalists I've ever encountered out there. That's really doing a great job. Got her hands deep in a lot of things that for most people would be scared to touch. But this chick is definitely, she's a toughie. So if you look at this particular show, by Graham's, and just check it out, Operation Warp Speed, keeping COVID vaccine contracts secret. So what I spoke about earlier is a lot of the COVID vaccine information that is usually out there for people, and isn't. It's not there. And the problem is they're keeping a lot of this information top secret, which never works out for anybody. Never works out for anybody. So it's very alarming. I don't think this vaccine is what people want it to be, because I don't think this flu is what they said it would be. Remember, $600 billion by maybe a handful of people have been made. Bezos, he's made almost $100 million, $100 billion in 8 months, 8 to 9 months. He's made close to $100 billion. Do you know how long it takes him to make $100 billion usually? Years. Years. He's now the fucking richest man. The second richest is still the orchestrator, Agenda 21, right? Agenda 20, Agenda 21, the final solution, the Great Reset, the vaccine, Moderna, World Health Organization, master or puppeteer, I would say, Bill Gates. There's just so much information here, you guys. And I know you've got experts and you got people that they've got scripts. They don't know what, they're only going by what the CDC and the FDA are telling them. And you know who owns them? The corporate elite 1%, period. They're just doing their job. They don't want to lose their fucking job. They're not going to a lot of these people won't go against the grain. And that's the sad part about our country right now, is a lot of people just will not question authority, demand tangible, real factual answers. Show me the fucking proof. Show it to me. How does that process work? Doesn't fucking happen anymore. You know, we used to have real journalists. We have one. Whitney Webb's good. I think Max Blumenthal does pretty good. Aaron Matei does really good. Can you name a few others?
Stevie from Redneck Economics.
Stevie with Redneck Economics definitely does a great job.
Montauk definitely does some excellent
I
work.
wouldn't call myself a journalist. I would just call myself a guy that's just...
You're not a journalist, but you put in the research. And just because you don't write an article doesn't mean that you don't put just as much, if not more, research into the work that you do on here.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all see a small percentage of it. Y'all see a small percentage of the amount of fact checking and research that he puts into this. This is a day and night thing for him. He absolutely is completely dedicated to this because people need to know the truth about this. People need to know these facts. Even myself, I'm doing stuff. I'm researching other things and taking care of stuff, but I don't have the time. That's why I lean so heavily on his research because, most people don't have the time, and that's why they set it up the way that they do, because they know that most Americans do not have the time to research this stuff. And that's why he dedicates himself to doing this, because he knows that, I'm sorry, not to talk like you're not in the room, but I mean, I'm talking to everybody here. That's why he does what he does, is because, there's so much misinformation out there, and there's so many people out there that claim to know that they know everything when they're just repeating talking points from CNN or Fox News. I mean, he's gotten into actual tangible, documents. These are facts. These are not, opinions. This is a trail of evidence that he's been following that goes back a few years, that before the pandemic even started. So, yeah, I mean, I would not put my support, I would not do any of this or say any of this if I did not 100% believe it. But, I mean, it's true. He's done the work on it, and it's an insane amount of work. And he doesn't talk about how much work he puts into this, but it's a crazy amount of work, more work than I've probably dedicated to a sole purpose in my entire life. So, I mean, it's really amazing, and he's not going to give himself the props. So I'm just going to have to do it for him.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now that I'm blushing. Yeah.
Okay, don't let your head get too big.
Yeah. I already, with my ego, I already need a fucking necklace, man. But the thing is I've got over 50 pages of stuff. I've got several different documents. I got some files. Like I said, if you ever want to come on my show and try to prove me wrong on what I've got and say what you're saying and what you're doing is totally incorrect and wrong, I've been asking people over and over and over, come on my show. Come on my show and I'll show you. Because I'm not going to go on your show where you can cut me off or show me something or this, that, and the other thing. It's going to be on my time. It's going to be on my time. I'm not going to do it on your time. The reason why is because I want to be able to have access to my information. You can't cut it off. You can't mute me. You can't do anything, or whatever the case may be. I want to be able to prove my point. I want to be able, which is interesting about debates. We were talking about this earlier. You have 2 minutes to follow up with that question. How the fuck does that happen, right? I mean, when Pence first started, and I'm sorry to go on this weird tangent, but what's interesting is you need more time to talk about these things. You can't do it in bullet points. I mean, you can, but you've got to have a process and a way. And why did that thing just stop? God, this damn OBS is doing some weird shit. It's blinking on and off. But anyway, so you have to have a conversation. That person needs to present their information in the court of law, and that other person needs to bring their information in the court of law. And it's not like you're trying to get them to jump on that other person's side and say, oh, if I can get it, I'm with you now. No. It's for the people that are judging, which, believe it or not, and the Bible says, thou shalt not judge. You fucking judge every day. If you're not judging every day, you're a walking moron. Okay? Period. So you have to make those judgments and let people that are watching make their assessment of what's going on. I mean, I can prove without a doubt that the actual death toll numbers are bullshit. And I'll just summarize. And so if you're walking on a bridge and a large gust of wind blows you over the bridge and you fall 200 feet to your death, but you test positive in some way, shape, or form for COVID, they mark it as a COVID death. Is that a COVID death? Is that what killed that guy? There's instances of people being in car accidents, suicides, right? Hell, you can get a shark attack and they could still mark it as COVID. Well, it contributed. The COVID virus contributed to the... No. There was an actual story of a man that was shot at 11 times. He was hit 7 times, pronounced dead at the scene. He tested positive, and guess what? He's a COVID death. Tell me that makes sense. 96% of the people that test positive for COVID, right, either have a bacteria, a parasite, or some kind of flu in them already that they're having a fucking hard time with, right? And it's 96.2% are all over the age of, I think it's 50 or 60 or 70. They're just older. And the immune system isn't that strong, which isn't really the case if you're Japanese, by the way. Because the Japanese people, and I'm not going to get on the health of everything, they fucking eat pretty good. We eat like shit. Okay? We eat terribly, and that's just the fact of the matter. All right, but...
Oh, and just a quick side note on that. If you can, shop at Aldi's because they sell their food based on the European standard of food, not the FDA's standard of food, which is, less than dog food. So the quality of food that they sell at Aldi's is actually a lot higher than what you would find at, everyday American supermarkets. So, and it's cheaper. I'm not paid by Aldi's.
Yeah. We should start,
They should pay, honestly, as many times as I've put their name out there. They really should pay.
Yeah, we should get paid for this stuff. I'm trying to help the planet and all of its inhabitants, and I care about people and my kids and their futures, just like I care about yours. I want, your kids to be able to swim and play in the streams and the oceans and the rivers that I used to play in that are now banned, or you can't go in them because of the pollutants that are in there now. I mean, there's a lot of things happening in this world. Whether you believe in climate change or not, we just need to clean it up. We need to clean it up from the corrupt side to the physical side and every side. And I'm not talking, I don't think we're going to have a perfect utopia. And I certainly don't think it's going to be like Star Trek, goddammit, which I'd like, because I love Star Trek. But I think it's going to be a little Star Wars just as it moves forward. But in order for our species to survive, we have to make sure that we take care of this planet, because there is no fucking plan B. Period. And there's plenty of space on here for us. There's so much space. I mean, I'm driving around here in West Virginia, and it's just space everywhere. By the way, you can get a fucking nice big house for like 3-bedroom, 1.5, 2-bath, acre property for, I don't know, you can get it for $60,000, $70,000. Sometimes you can get like a mansion for $120,000.
You can get a literal mansion in West Virginia for the same price you would pay for a 2-bedroom condo
A truck.
Yeah.
A new Dodge Ram that's $80,000.
No. I'm talking about like politician, lobbyist kind of mansion, Jeff Bezos kind of mansion.
Yeah.
You can get that in West Virginia for the same price you can get for a 2-bedroom condo in California.
And the gas is cheaper.
Yeah.
And
It's just that, there's
a little bit, not a lot. And there's some good people in there, and I love
this thing.
I'm
going to tell you,
a beautiful state. And you guys should just come and check it out. There's a lot of the South or the Southeast that has a bad name, and it should. There's some decent good people here. There's a lot of great agriculture. The only thing is that some of the rivers are polluted by DuPont and all this other crap. But that's why I'm here. I'm going to help work on that and try to clean up our rivers and our lakes so people can get out there and start doing some more boating, kayaking, and canoeing. And I want to get an outrigger canoe club out here. That's what I would love to do. These rivers are perfect for it. Outrigger canoes, man, paddling. That would be so much fun. I used to paddle for Kaiser in Hawaii. To make a long story short, our goal is to make sure that her kids have a future, your kids have a future. Whether you believe in Jesus or Allah or Rosh Hashanah or who's the Hindu god? I don't know. Who's the? Give me a
Shiva?
Sigma or something. Anyway,
Shiva, S-H-I-V-A.
is it Shiva?
I don't know. There's a couple of different
Anyway,
figures. I don't know.
whatever the case may be, I just want people to be able to enjoy their time on this planet with more joy and less pain. That's pretty much it.
And I was even explaining that to Eli, my son, earlier today. I was explaining to him that, what happens, what hurts, one person in your community will end up hurting everybody in that community. We all suffer when another group is made to suffer, when another, person is made to suffer. When there's a homeless person, when there's somebody that's being abused or oppressed, that means we're all being oppressed by that. Just take, for instance, even the wealth gap. I mean, yes, of course, I'm not going to lose any sleep at night over, what the rich are missing out on. But at the same time, they don't know what real human interaction is like. They don't know what it's like to have a friend. They don't know what it's like to love their kids. They don't understand any of that. They're deprived of any kind of human compassion. They are Cybermen, Daleks. They're just completely they're walking calculators, for their stockholders. That's it. And so, they get to live in their mansions but they don't get to have things like that. And so, like I said, I'm not gonna cry over Jeff Bezos not being hugged enough as a child, but it's like, they could get a little bit more and we could get a whole lot more by overturning the system. And, just that nobody is immune to oppression. When you isolate something and you hurt in one area, it's going to affect other areas. So, whether or not it's racism, sexism, whatever ism you want to put in there,
Like fascism.
It will come back on every one of us. So, so that's what I was trying to teach Eli today. He's 8 years old, so maybe we'll revisit that topic in a couple more years. But I just want to let him know, little things like that. It's just, these aren't things that we're taught. These aren't things that we're taught when we're growing up. These aren't things that they teach in school. These aren't things that parents usually get a chance to teach their kids. So anything I can tell him to help him, later on in life. I know he's not listening right now. He's 8, but later on in life, he might be like, "Oh yeah, Mom was right about that."
Yeah. Here's the thing that I've always known, that was given to me by my grandfather, who was a pretty smart person. My dad, definitely musically inclined. He could play so many things, but my grandfather taught me something that was pretty awesome. And this is something that we try to do, or I try to strive for, is knowledge alone is not power. And I remember him saying that to me, and he goes, so Jimmy, if you're the smartest person in the room, but you sit in a corner, is that any power? I go, no. And he goes, so how do you become powerful with that knowledge? And I said, use it. And he goes, exactly, you apply it. So he says, properly applied knowledge is power. So if you're not applying your knowledge properly, which I am still working on it, then you're not moving well. But the thing is we've just got to try to find a way to fix all this. I feel like I'm having the same fucking conversation I did in 2016. Is it me? It's the same. It's the fucking same.
It's all deja vu.
God, it's like deja vu, broken record shit. And now we got COVID scam on top of it, for fuck's sakes. All right, let's wave. We're going to get going. Aloha, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you very, Stevie, for joining me as usual. You're the best hostess with the mostest. Okay, aloha.